ride this season, Kevco Oil Pans and Components, Kaiser Racing Wheels, QualityFreightRate.com, General Rooter, and the Justice Brothers along for the ride this season to help bring tonight's broadcast for free, thanks to all of our sponsors. And to start off the night, we will start things with the first green flag racing, as we always like to here at Thunderhill Speedway, with our rookie cage class. We have three competitors who will be making their way out onto the track momentarily. There we have them right there. Three racers, and we'll be doing things for those who may be new to Thunderhill Speedway, whether you are on the grounds with us tonight or watching the live stream on MBTV Sports. If you may not have seen our rookie cage class, you'll see we do things a little bit differently than some of our other racers here. Now, this is our youngster class. We're sending those kiddos out there just to get a feel for the racing surface. It may be one of the first times they've been behind the wheel of a kart overall, or maybe the first time they've been on a track or been racing with other people. So we kind of do things a little light and loose with them, just kind of send them out, let them take their green flag right away. We got three competitors out there tonight, including the 12 of Colfax, Wisconsin's Carter Knutson, Tucker Christensen inside the 4T7 out of good old Menomonie, Wisconsin, and the Stanley, Wisconsin 36 of Rowdy Junker. So three karts out on the track there. We get a nice shot of the 12 of Knutson putting another lap in the books there. He's looking fast, looking a little speedy out there, along with the 4T7 of Tucker Christensen as well, putting in some solid laps out on the track for the rookie cage class. We might even be seeing a battle between two of our racers there developing, as the 12 of Knutson looks to overtake the 4T7 of Christensen. Now look at these youngsters learning how to race out on a track with others. The 12 of Knutson, he's kind of peeking to the outside. We saw him sneak down to the inside earlier, but now he's learning he might want to take that high line. Not quite able to make it work through turns 1 and 2, but they're going to go out on the backstretch. Less than a kart length separating them two. There we see the 12 of Knutson starting to show his nose, but the 4T7 of Christensen is showing how nice that inside line can work, how he's got that preferred line down low. So both of these racers able to learn a little bit more about what it's like to race out on a track there. The 12 of Knutson learning how to look through the racers ahead of them, see what might work best for passing. The 4T7 of Christensen working on his defensive driving, learning what the best way is when a racer's behind you. Not to race dirty by any means, but learn, what routes might be best to try to hold off the competition. There, the checkered flag's going to fly on our first heat race of the evening. Once again, that is our rookie cage class. Up next, we're going to add a little bit of experience. Still got some youngsters making their way out onto the track. We're going to add a little extra year of experience there as we bring out our R-Box competitors. One of our biggest classes that we have week in and week out, which is showing a healthy standing for the youngsters in the sport, the future of the sport here, as we bring them out onto the track. First of two heat races. We're going to have 8 racers in this first race, I believe 7 in heat number 2. So starting lineup for heat number 1 is going to end up going as follows. On the inside, the pole, we have the 54 of Blooming Prairie, Minnesota's Camden Clemenson, alongside Theo LeBlond racing the 22T out of Downsville, Wisconsin. Inside row number 2, Dirks LeBlond, also out of Downsville, racing the 22, alongside your current points championship leader, the 4 out of Winona, Minnesota, it's Luke Pettit. Barrett Evans racing the 88E from Menomonie, Wisconsin on the inside of row number 3, alongside Sammy Pettit racing the 5S from Winona, Minnesota. Inside of that 4th and final row, the Silver Bay, Minnesota 117 of Gage Van House, and Paxton Friedrich racing the 3J out of Hudson, Wisconsin. 8 racers, about to go 8 laps around our 6th mile oval here at Thunderhill Speedway. Tightening things up on the back stretch. We make our way through 3 and 4. We see a little bumping from LeBlond in row 2, but the green flag is going to fly as we go 4 wide out of the corner, and it's our flag-carrying Pettits who are going to lead the charge early on. We saw them out there carrying the stars and stripes. And look at that, a rocket shot pass, but it looks like we had a quick caution there, so we're going to slow things down. Get everyone re-racked and restacked. And you'll see when we bring them up to the front stretch here, now like I was saying earlier, we are adding a little bit of experience to these racers compared to the rookie cage class that we just saw earlier, but they are still youngsters out there, may not quite be ready yet for the reordering of the carts while driving, as you'll see in some of the more experienced classes later on. So we like to bring them to a stop on the front straight, just make sure everyone is in their correct restart order before we get to green flag racing once again. So there we can see LeBlond, Pettit sent ahead. Evans in the 88E makes his way up to the line. Looks like we are getting ready there. Had a quick swap on the inside and outside. But now we have the 54 of Clemenson. There we've got everyone in their correct restarting order. We move through 3 and 4. Little bit of a slow start with quite a bit of traffic. We're going to make our way through 1 and 2. And there we've got the battle for the lead raging out front. Current race leader looks to be the 3J of Paxton Friedrich from the back row. But here comes your current points champion, the 4 of Luke Pettit's able to make the move around the 3J of Friedrich. Pettit now up to the top spot. Friedrich sitting in second. And it's LeBlond, the 5S of Sammy Pettit, and Van House in the 117 rounding out your top 5. But here comes the 88E of Evans making a move into the top 5. Now, just as a reminder, tonight, one of our, I believe this is our only class today with a B main. So our racers are going to be trying to opt for a direct transfer into the main event later on tonight. They don't have to travel through a B main as the 5S of Sammy Pettit spins around on the backstretch. So they're going to be given a little more than their normal all here as they try to make direct transfers in. Another quick reminder, for those of you live streaming tonight's events for free, thank you to MBTV Sports and our streaming sponsors that we have here. You will see we have a QR code in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It's a little cut off right now from the lineup that we have. There we have it, nice and clear for you. Feel free throughout the evening if you're feeling generous, if you like having the free streaming access through MBTV Sports, feel free to give us a thank you. We have Buy MBTV a Cheeseburger up there. Feel free to send us a couple dollars. Thank us for bringing our streaming action to Thunderhill Speedway for free this evening. We want to be able to go back to the free streaming that we've had in previous years. Fortunately, it ends up just being quite a bit of a cost to get all of the equipment out here, do the live streaming, have everyone get all set up for the live streaming. So if you are feeling a little thankful, feel free to send us a couple bucks so that we can hopefully continue the live streaming efforts here, the free live streaming efforts here throughout the rest of the season and into future seasons. Green flag is back out, and it's the 4 of Pettit leading the charge early on. There we've got that side-by-side battle between Evans and the 117 of Van House, still raging on for that 5th place position. Evans now going to move up to that 4th place spot. It is Pettit, the 22 of LeBlond, 3J of Friedrich, 88E of Evans, and the 117 of Van House sitting in your top 5 currently. Even spacing throughout our top 5 right now, all with about a 5 cart gap between them. as the 4 of Luke Pettit, your current points championship leader, puts another lap in the books here. Nice little side-by-side battle for that 5th place position as the 5S of Sammy Pettit makes a move to the outside. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go. For the 4 of Luke Pettit, he's going to make his way around some lap traffic through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is in his sights, and it's the 4 of Luke Pettit taking the heat race win here today in Heat 1 of our R-Box class. It's going to be the 22 of Dirks LeBlanc crossing the line second, followed by the 3J of Paxton Friedrich. Evans in the 88E and the 117 of Van House will round out your top 5 for heat number 1 of 2 for our R-Box class. Heat number 2 of 2 going to make their way out now. Last race we had 8 racers. This race we're going to have 7. So equally as competitive. 8 laps for heat race number 2, and your starting lineup has the 21 of Fall Creek, Wisconsin's Jack Smith on the pole, alongside the 13 of Julian Logslet from Colfax, Wisconsin. Logslet currently sitting in 2nd place in the championship point standings. Inside of row number 2, it's the Ladysmith, Wisconsin, number 30C of Cashton Lear, alongside Sullivan Thill racing the 95 from Rolling Stone, Minnesota. Inside row number 3, Henrik Hollerud piloting the 19H from Spring Valley, Wisconsin, and the Eau Claire, Wisconsin number 19X of Onyx Webb. And all alone in that 4th and final row, it is the 17 out of Randolph, Minnesota. That is Josiah Hoffbeck. 7 racers about to go 8 laps around the track for heat race number 2 of our R-Box class. Want to send another quick thank you and shout out to our streaming sponsors tonight: Old World Meats, Kevco Oil Pans and Components, Justice Brothers, General Rooter, Kaiser Racing Wheels, and QualityFreightRate.com. It's thanks to those streaming sponsors that we're able to bring you some free live coverage of tonight's racing efforts on MBTV Sports. As we go green flag racing for heat race number 2 of the R-Box class. Side-by-side battle for 2nd and 3rd, and a 3-racer battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th raging on, but out front all alone, making it look easy. It's the 13 of Logslet leading the race, as now we've got a 4-racer battle developing for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The 27, or the 21 of Smith, apologies, it's for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. So it's the 21 of Smith, the 19H of Hollerud, the 17 of Hoffbeck, and here comes, I believe that might be the 19X of Webb, trying to get into the mix as well. As we've got the 95 of Thill looping it around in turn number 4. Thill was sitting in 2nd place, but's going to end up drawing the caution there. He was in a direct transfer spot to the A main later on. So he's got 6 laps left to try to make a fast dash back up into one of those transfer positions. So we're going to bring him back to the front straightaway here, reline him up. Again, we might be seeing a little caution heavy for these R-Box racers during the heat races here. Typically the heat races, as you may know, only go for your starting position on the grid for the feature race later on. But the R-Box class today is our only class that has a B main to follow before we get into our feature races. So not every racer that we see out on the track this evening in the R-Box class will be making it into our feature race later on tonight. Some are going to have to battle through a B main, which, as racers know, no one wants to have to go through the dreaded LCQ, the B main, and so they're going to be giving it their all right from the get-go to try to get one of those coveted direct transfer positions into the A main later on this evening. We'll rack and restack everyone there. We see the 13 of Logslet in the upper right-hand corner of the screen for those of you streaming on MBTV Sports, or in turn number 2 for those of you at the track. Be pushed to the back stretch there as the rest of our racers come through, including the 21 of Smith, the 19M, I believe that's the 19H, apologies, of Hollerud, followed by the 19X of Webb, the 17 of Hoffbeck. And there we have the 95 of Phil, and that is not what our second place points championship sitting racer is hoping to see in their heat race, as the 13 of Julian Logslit has pulled to the infield. Not quite sure what happened there. We saw him stopped in turn number 2. The rest of the heat race will continue as is. Now it's the 21 of Smith leading the charge. He had the pole earlier on, moved back a couple spots to third. Now he's back up to the lead. But here comes the 19H of Hollerud on the outside trying to make a move. They're going to be side by side through 1 and 2. The 19X of Webb trying to get into the mix as well. Hollerud's by. Now Webb is trying to make the move on the 21 of Smith, seeing if he can move up into a top 2 position. On the front straight, across the line, slight advantage to the 21 of Smith, but there goes Webb. Webb is by, and it's the 17 of Hoffbeck now trying to make the move, as we got a 3-racer battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th raging on. All sorts of movement as the 17 of Hoffbeck looks low. 95 of Phil goes high. Phil's able to make the move on Hoffbeck. Now he's setting his sights on the 21 of Smith. He goes way wide through turn 4. 2 laps left to go for Phil to go from last place on that restart into a top 3 position. He's side by side with Smith, makes the move, lets it stick, and Phil is up to 3rd at the white flag. 1 more lap to go in our R-Box A main. Checkered flag's gonna fly though for the 19H of Henrik Hollerud, taking the heat race win in an eventful heat number 2 of our R-Box class. It's the 19X of Onyx Webb who's gonna cross the line 2nd, and the 95 of Sullivan Phil rounding out your top 3 for heat number 2 of our R-Box class. Up next, we're going to go throw our BP Wing racers out there. We've got 2 heats for our BP Wings. No B-main in this class, however, and 1 less racer than the R-Box class. So we'll go 7 and 7 in these heat races, and we'll be able to sneak all 14 riders into the A-main later on today. As a reminder, for those of you live streaming for free tonight on mymbtv.com, mbtvsports.com, and through our associated Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/X pages. If you're feeling generous, want to thank us for the free live streaming efforts, and in an effort to bring more free live streaming the rest of this season, hopefully, we do have a QR code in the upper right-hand corner of the screen there. Feel free to scan that code. Send a couple bucks our way. Thank us for this so that we can continue some free coverage throughout the season. 23 of Halapka, 26 of Zimmer, 44 of Anderson, Erickson in the 32, 7D JR of Schmutz, 7B of Jiraji, and the 36 of Junker are out on the track right now for heat race 1 of 2 in our BP Wing class, as the green flag is flying. Looks like we're going to slow things down here. Take a look at what happened. We make our way through 1 and 2. It looks like one of our racers, I believe that might be the 26 of Zimmer, going around everyone else into avoidance tactics. So we're going to re-rack and restack them here before we go back to green flag racing. Again, Harper Halapka in the 23 on the pole. 26 of Kimber Zimmer going to get their spot back on the outside of row number 1. Levi Anderson in the 44 and Otto Erickson in the 32 make up row number 2. 7D JR of Kinsley Schmutz and Brandon Jiraji racing the 7B are row number 3, and all alone in row number 4, it's the 36 of Henry Junker. Green flag is out. And it's the 23 of Harper Halapka, your early race leader. 26 of Zimmer right behind in second, but as I say it, the 32 of Erickson's able to make the move on the inside. Erickson up to second, and don't look now, the 7D JR of Schmutz trying to make the same move Erickson did. As Schmutz is now up to third, he's able to battle to the inside and move up to second. Schmutz with the power move from 4th to 2nd in just half a lap there. It's now Erickson out front. Schmutz looks to the inside. Can he go 3 for 3 on the corners? He does, as we have a new race leader The 7DJR of Kinsley Schmutz, Menomonie's very own out front, leading heat race number 1 of 2 in our BP wing class. Ericsson's going to drop back to second. Halapka, Zimmer, and Younger will round out your top 5. And with a clear track ahead of them, the 7DJR of Schmutz is able to pull away, set some distance between themselves and the 32, of Ericsson. Checkered flag is out for Kinsley Schmutz in the 7DJR, taking the heat race win. 32 of Otto Eriksson going to cross the line second. Rest of our crew going to make their way off the track as well for heat race number 1 of 2 in our BP wing class. Up next, heat 2 of 2. We're going to go another 8 laps. Sitting on the pole from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, it's the 18T of Trip Swan alongside Archer Hoffbeck, racing the 14 from Randolph, Minnesota. Inside row number 2, your current points championship leader out of Winona, Minnesota. It's the 3J of Jonathan Pettit III alongside Oakley Booth, racing the 16 from Colfax, Wisconsin. Alan Byrne, racing out of Trempealeau, Wisconsin, is inside the 8 on the inside of row number 3, alongside Menomonie's very own Easton Schultz inside the 7S, and all alone in that 4th and final row out of Superior, Wisconsin, the 1T of Tanner Johnson. 7 racers, 8 laps, as the green flag flies for heat race number 2. And it's the 3J of Pettit III looping it around in 1 and 2. Pettit, your current points championship leader. We're going to want to keep an eye on the battle between Pettit and the 14 of Hoffbeck all day long, as Hoffbeck currently sitting in 2nd place in the championship point standings. There we can see a little bumping and banging between Pettit and the 8 of Byrne as we go through 1 and 2. So we'll get everyone re-racked, restacked, and ready to go before we try a quick restart here. Bracken Schur on YouTube saying Archer Hoffbeck's going to win tonight. Props to Archer Hoffbeck, racing the 14. Sitting on the outside of row number 1 for the heat race. Let's see what he's able to take home in the heat and how he's able to power through the feature race later on this evening. See if he can reel in or surpass the 3J of Pettit III in the point standings. We make our way through 3 and 4. And it looks like we're going to go another lap before we go green flag racing here. The 7S of Schultz moving a little wide there, coming out of 4. Now we've got everyone realigned up in their correct restart order, and it looks like the 3J of Pettit III is not going to be restarting this heat. So we're down to 6 racers. Hoffbeck out front, Byrne and the 18T of Swan sitting in 2nd and 3rd, 16 of Booth in that 4th place position. As the battle for 2nd and 3rd rages on, the 18T of Swan has been able to take full possession of that 2nd place spot. Byrne still giving it to him just behind, seeing if he might be able to retake that spot over. But here comes the 16 of Booth trying to get into the mix, as we've got a 3-racer battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th developing. Booth's going to lose a little bit of ground, as here comes the 8 of Byrne down to the inside. Byrne up to that 2nd place spot. Swan's going to battle back to the inside, see if he can make that switchback maneuver work. Gets side by side in 1 and 2, but he's not able to secure it. Byrne up to that 2nd place spot with full possession, and here comes the 16 of Booth to the inside of Swan. Side by side across the start-finish line. Booth with the slight advantage as we go onto the backstretch. Swan battles back to the inside. We have mixed and matched just about every lap, as we have 2 laps left to go in this battle for the final podium spot in this heat race this evening. Swan still holding on to it. Booth's got 1 lap left to go to see if he can make any moves. Out front, Hoffbeck is fully checked out. Checkered flag is going to fly for the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck. The 8 of Byrne going to cross the line second, and who's got third? It's going to be the 18T of Swan holding on by 0.2 seconds as the 16 of Booth's going to have to settle for a 4th place finish. And my, oh my, it looks like the 3J of Pettit III is going to have to get pushed out of the infield and off the track. Definitely not what Pettit wants to see. Well, he's leading the championship point standings, and that's going to bring our close to our BP wing races for the heats. We'll move into our lone sportsman class heat race here, where we've got 6 riders about to duke it out for 8 laps, including Barron, Wisconsin's 25 of Ramon Perez, alongside Henry Scott racing the 27 out of Menomonie. Inside row number 2, the 74 out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, it's Jake Johnson, alongside Gene Supri racing the 97, also from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And that 3rd row, we have Ashton Henshin aboard the 105 from Rock Falls, Wisconsin, alongside Rock Falls, Wisconsin's Trayton Velchek in the 55. 6 racers, 8 laps as we make our way through 3 and 4. Pedal to the metal, and it's the 74 of Johnson with a move down to the inside. Johnson's going to make early work and move up to that top spot, but not if the 25 of Perez has anything to do with it. These racers were battling quite a bit through all of last season. And it looks like tonight is going to be no different, as Perez able to make a move on the outside, regain that top spot. As we put another lap in the books, it's Perez, Johnson, Velchek, Henshin, Scott, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trayton Velchek, your current points championship leader, and the only racer all season to have a perfect record here at Thunderhill Speedway. When it comes to feature race wins, he has gone 3 for 3 so far. He's currently sitting in 3rd in this heat race. So will we see a continued clean sweep in the mains from Velchek, or will we see a new racer at the top of the podium? This heat race could give us a look at what we'll be seeing later on tonight. Halfway through this heat race, and it's still Perez, Johnson, and Velchek 1, 2, and 3 as they've checked out from 4th, 5th, and 6th. Henshin, Scott still sitting in 4th and 5th, Supri right behind in 6th. As the battle for the top 3 continues to rage, here comes the 74 of Johnson taking a look down to the inside. Johnson was the absolute king of last lap passes last season. We'll see if he's going to try to do it again. Velchek right there in the mix as well. Final time through 3 and 4. Lap traffic's going to split them down to the inside, 3 wide across the start-finish line. And it looks like slight advantage is going to go to the 74 of Johnson. Velchek to the inside, behind by, are you ready for this? 3/100ths of a second. He's going to take second. Perez, only 8/100ths of a second behind the leader. Going to cross the line 3rd. Let's take a look at this finish one more time. 4 wide if you include our lapped rider there. Slight advantage to Johnson in the middle of that 3-rider sandwich at the lead. Velchek took the inside line, Perez on the outside. You know, our sportsman class may only have 6 racers in it, but they guarantee week in and week out that they will put on one of the best shows of the night. Always love getting to watch that class make their way out there. Up next, we're going to move into our Mod BP Wing class heat race. 1 heat race in this class this evening. Starting lineup has the 8X of Alan Byrne from Trempealeau, Wisconsin on the pole, alongside Trenton Peterson racing the 17 from Russell, Iowa. Inside row number 2, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Xander Glumsky inside the 27. And to his right, the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck from Randolph, Minnesota. Row number 3 has Kennedy Cluckus racing the 8 from Colfax, Wisconsin. And to the outside, your current points championship leader, the 44 of Reese Smith out of Stanley, Wisconsin. Now, this is another class where we're going to want to keep a close eye on the feature later on tonight, as Smith, your current points championship leader with 1 win on the season, is only 2 points ahead of second place, the 8X of Alan Byrne, who in turn is only 1 point ahead of the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck in 3rd. So 3 points separate our top 3 racers in the main events this evening in the points championship standings. So Smith, Byrne, and Hoffbeck definitely going to want to be keeping an eye on, see how they are able to duke it out all evening long. It's like we only have 6 or 5 of our scheduled 6 racers making the call here today, as the 14 of Hoffbeck is going to loop it around in 3 and 4. Let's take a look at what happened there. As we go through 3 and 4, Hoffbeck goes a little low. With nowhere to go, goes into a quick avoidance spin to not get into the side of the 8X of Byrne. So it's going to be Byrne and Peterson out front on this restart. 27 and 14 of Hoffbeck. And the 44 of Smith rounding out your field. Looks like it's the 8 of Pluckus that we're missing. 17 of Peterson with the dive down low. Hoffbeck looks to the outside, makes a move. As the 8 of Byrne is off the pace there on the back, we're going to bring them back down to a crawl here. Not quite sure what happened, if it wasn't the start that we were looking for. So we'll re-rack and restack him here. 8X of Byrne on the inside. Grant Keller on YouTube saying Easton Schultz gonna get the victory today. Easton Schultz, one of our racers in our earlier classes here. So shout out to Easton Schultz on YouTube. Excited to see how he's able to do in the feature later on this evening. As we send our racers onto the back straightaway. Seems as though the 17 of Peterson going to move back a row. Looks like may have jumped the start a little during that last restart, so we'll send him to row number 2. The 14 of Hoffbeck able to move up to that front row. Slight advantage through 1 and 2 to Hoffbeck. Byrne bumping and banging through 1 and 2 is going to hold on to second by a hair. The 17 of Peterson right behind in third, though, as he cuts down to the inside. Looks to make that switchback maneuver work. Byrne battles back on the outside, but Peterson's got the preferred line down low. They're going to go side by side onto the front stretch. Still slight advantage to the 8X of Byrne, but here comes your current points championship leader, the 44 of Reese Smith, trying to move his way into the top 3 as he's setting his sights on the 17 of Peterson. The 8X of Byrne has separated himself ever so slightly from the 17 of Peterson. Out front, the 14 of Hoffbeck with a near 2.5 gap back to second place. Has a free track ahead of him. He's trying to make things look easy out there. Hoffbeck currently sitting in third in the points. Only 3 points behind Smith, 1 point behind Byrne. We'll see if he's able to set himself up for a nice starting line feature race later on this evening. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go. And the checkered's gonna fly for the Randolph, Minnesota number 14 of Archer Hoffbeck taking the heat race win. The 8X of Alan Byrne gonna cross the line second, and it's the 17 of Trenton Peterson who's gonna hold on to that final podium position in the Mod BP Wing heat race. Rest of the field gonna follow behind. Up next, another solo heat race in our 125-250 wing class. 8 competitors in this heat tonight, about to go 8 laps around the 6th mile Thunderhill Speedway Oval. Starting lineup has the 6D of Indianola, Iowa's Marshall Dawson on the pole, alongside Caleb Kropp, Menomonie's very own number 29. Brody Conkey racing the UFO 2 is on the inside of row number 2. Tyler Alton out of New Richmond, Wisconsin racing the 22X is on the outside. Inside row number 3, Rice Lake, Wisconsin's 22 of Davin Hauk, and Landon Suprai racing the 99 JR out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. And in that fourth row, racing out of Madison, Wisconsin, it's Holden Harder inside the UFO, and Knox Peterson behind the wheel of the Pella, Iowa entry. 8 racers, 8 laps in our 125-250 wing class. Holden Harder's won 2 of the 3 races so far this season, finished second in the 3rd race. So Harder, your current points champion, with a decent gap, 23 points back to the 22 of Davin Hauk. So a little bit of a cushion there for Harder, but Harder is still going to be giving it his all. It's like we're just taking a moment here to get everyone lined up in their correct starting order. Now gives us a perfect time to send a quick reminder out for any friends or family who may not have been able to be here tonight to be a part of the racing action. Make sure to let them know we are streaming tonight's events for free, courtesy of MBTV Sports, through both of our websites. That is our new mymbtv.com website, as well as our previous website that we used in last season's. We are doing a little construction on mbtvsports.com, but we still have that watch live button at the top of the screen. Feel free to send them on over there for some free coverage of tonight's racing action. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/X. So for any friends or family who aren't able to make it, heck, if you have some enemies that you want to show off to send them on over to mymbtv.com, MBTV, or to Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter pages, so they can see some live racing for free all night long. And if you are streaming tonight's events, feel free to scan that QR code in the upper right-hand corner. Buy MBTV a cheeseburger at the concession stand later on tonight. Sends $5 to our PayPal account. Thank us for bringing some live free coverage to you folks this week, and to help support our free live streaming efforts. Looks like our starting lineup is ready to go, so we'll send them through 3 and 4, give them that green flag, and it's gonna be the UFO 2 of Brody Conkey leading the charge early on. As there we've got them locked through 3 and 4, the 29 of Crop and the 6D of Dawson getting into each other there through 3 and 4. Looks like the 22X of Alton gonna get into the mix as well in a slight avoidance spin. Let's take a look at what happened there. We make our way onto the back stretch. Through 3 and 4, the 29 of Crop cuts way down low as the 6D of Dawson tries to make a move on the outside. They get locked into each other. The 22X of Alton, with nowhere to go, goes into a slight avoidance spin. We'll get everyone re-lined up in their correct restart orders, as we've got our UFOs out front leading the charge. The UFO 2 of Brody Conkey, your current race leader. The UFO of Holden Harder, your current points championship leader, right behind. And as we had not made a full lap into the books, it looks like we are going with a full restart. So it will be Dawson and Crop, both luckily by the skin of their teeth, able to hold on out front. Get a restart there. Green flag through 3 and 4. Here comes Conkey to the inside, but the 60 of Dawson's able to hold on to it as we're 3 wide through 3 and 4. Harder, Conkey, and the 29 of Crop side by side by side, as now the 29 of Crop is able to slingshot around on the outside. Crop's now back up to that top spot. The 60 of Dawson moves back to second. Harder sitting in third, but he's got Conkey peeking in on the outside, looking to see if he might have some ground there. Harder still with the slight advantage, but Conkey trying to make some moves down on the inside line. Harder's going to shut the door, not going to let anything happen that time around. Crop still your race leader, but now getting to be tight quarters for second and third as here comes the UFO of Harder down to the inside of Dawson. Harder now up to that second place spot, setting his sights on the 29 of Crop. Dawson's going to settle back in third, but not too soon before the UFO 2 of Conkey looks to make a move down to the inside. All the while, the 52 of Peterson biding his time in fifth, seeing if he might be able to sneak his way onto the podium as well. White flag is out. One more lap to go, and we've got a three-racer battle for the final step on the podium. 29 of Caleb Crop's going to take the win. UFO of Holden Harder going to cross the line second from the back row, and it's the UFO 2 of Brody Conkey able to hold on for third, only 4/100ths of a second ahead of the 60 of Dawson. The 52 of Peterson will round out your top five, and that is our 125-250 wing heat race. Up next, we're going to throw two heat races of micro sprint racing action your way. 15 racers tonight. First heat, we're going to have 8 of those racers make the call. Starting lineup has Carter Jensrud racing the C71 out of River Falls, Wisconsin on the pole alongside Mason Subert inside the 99 from Welch, Minnesota. Colin Eddy piloting the 99M from St. Michael, Minnesota on the inside of row number 2 alongside Stacy, Minnesota's Tyler Pulofsky behind the wheel of the 323. Jackson Jiragi racing the Ellsworth, Wisconsin 46G is on the inside of row 3. And to his right, Indianola, Iowa's Riley Dawson inside the 13M. Fourth and final row has Ellsworth, Wisconsin's Derek Jiragi behind the wheel of the 48G. And Watertown, Minnesota's 16Z of Claire Zorn Turretin rounding out your 8-racer field. So we're still waiting on one of our racers there. 7 of our scheduled 8 out on the track currently. Out front, we see that it's the C71 of Jensrud alongside the 99 of Subert. We're going to tighten things up here. Looks like we're going live with only 7 of our scheduled 8 racers. Through 3 and 4. Green light is out, and it's the C71 of Jensrud leading the pack through 1 and 2. He's going to slide high like he likes to do. Take that extreme high line through 1 and 2. Doing the same through 3 and 4 to put the first lap in the books for our K&K Racing Micro Sprints. A little bumping and banging there through 1 and 2. As we've got a 4-racer battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th raging on. 99 of Subert in the mix. 323 of Pulofsky looking down to the inside as well. Three wide through 1 and 2 and onto the back stretch into 3 and 4. We're getting to be a 4-racer battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Jensrud out front all alone, slight advantage to Subert in 2nd, and it's the 46G of Jiragi in 3rd, Pulofsky in 4th, and the 13M of Dawson trying to get into the mix as well. Subert still holding on to 2nd, but Jiragi looks down low, sees if he can take slight advantage of that 2nd place spot. Subert has the high line though. He's able to put the pedal to the metal early on and lead through the front straightaway. Now the great thing, as I started to say, it looks like we have some trouble in 1 and 2. The 16Z, I believe that might be. No, apologies. It looks like that is the 99C. looping it around. It looks like the 99C's night has come to a close, at least for the heat races. So we're going to get them hooked up to the mule, bring them to the infield. Hopefully we'll see them later on this evening in the main. And I believe with how many laps we had left, we may be going into a green-white checkered situation. Heat race number 1 of our K&K Racing micro sprints out on the track now. 2 heat races in this class before we move into our final heat race of the night. Boy, oh boy, tonight's program definitely running through quickly. We're almost done with the heat race.
QualityFreightRate.com.
The LTL Freight Logistics Specialist for your small business.
QualityFreightRate.com.
We simplify shipping, eliminate those surprise charges, and negotiate the best rates from most LTL qualified carriers.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Special residential and liftgate rates available for automotive and ag implements.
QualityFreightRate.com.
Use the promo code ICE and get 10% off your first shipment. Startup is so easy. Get a quote and ship today. QualityFreightRate.com.
With all of our racers where they're supposed to be now, whether it's in the infield or on the track, ready to go. Take a moment here to get everyone re-lined up. Race leader dominating the heat so far out front's the C71 of Carter Jensrud. Right behind him, we had that 4-racer battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We're going to get everyone single file here for what I believe will be a green-white checkered. Green flag is out. Jensrud going to lead him into 1 and 2, but the 99 of Subert looks down low. Slight advantage on the inside, but Jensrud is able to rock it on the outside. One more lap to go. Checkered flag is gonna fly for your heat race winner. It's the C71 of Carter Jensrud taking the win today. 99 of Subert gonna cross the line second. 323 of Polovsky gonna inch by to round out your podium in heat race number 1 of 2 for our K&K Racing micro sprint class. Up next, heat race 2's starting lineup will have 7 racers on the call, including the 8W of Jaden Wagner. Sitting on the pole out of Welcome, North Carolina, making the long haul, sitting 2nd place in the points this season. Side by side with the 18R out of Elko, Minnesota, that's Leighton Rose. Row number 2 as the 99X of Bentley Halapka racing out of Wheeler, Wisconsin. And to his right, Kelly Koss inside the Otter Creek, Wisconsin 23. Row number 3 as Becker, Minnesota's 128 of Marshall Willing alongside your current points championship leader. The UFO out of Kewaskum, Wisconsin, it's Cade Jagger. And Grant Keller, Menomonie's very own number 31, will be rounding out your 7-card field for heat race number 2. Cade Jagger, currently your points championship leader in the micro sprint class. He has won 2 of the 3 races this season. Gonna see if he might be able to go 3 for 4 tonight, or will the 8W of Wagner be able to make a move up to either tie or take the lead in the championship points battles later on today. Only 5 points separating 1st and 2nd place. As the green flag flies, Wagner gonna lead the charge early on in the 8W. He had a great hop off the line as we've got one looping it around in 3 and 4. I believe that may have possibly been the 128 of Willing or the 31 of Keller. Can't quite see just yet. Looks like that was the 31 of Keller. He's refired. Gonna make his way back to the rear of the field. We'll try this a second time. So once again, it's Wagner and Rose out front. Halopka and Koss in row number 2. Willing and Jagger make up row number 3. And Keller all by his lonesome in row number 4. Because we didn't get a full lap into the books there, we are going to go with a full restart here. So we'll go 2 by 2 by 2 by 1 as we tighten things up on the backstretch. Is that the 23 of Koss? Looks like Koss's heat race has come to a close. Not quite sure what happened to Koss there, but hopefully we'll see them later on tonight in the feature. So we'll tighten things up here on the backstretch. See if we might be able to go green this time by. Might give them an extra lap just to make sure everyone is kosher and ready to go. We'll send them through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. The 8W of Wagner leading the charge early on. Nice little switch-up maneuver there from the second row. As the UFO of Jagger tries to get into the mix there. Jagger's now up to that second place position, setting his sights on the 8W of Wagner. And whoa, sliding high, we're able to save it without drawing the caution. They touch through 3 and 4, but we're going to keep at it. I guess not. Looks like one of our racers there, all of our cars were able to keep things rolling. Let's take a look here what happened through 3 and 4. There we get a high slide from one of our racers. The 18T or the 18R of Rose gonna slow things down in 4. I believe Rose kept it fired, but off the pace we will bring the caution. So we'll bring them out once again. I believe now we're gonna go single file here. 18R of Rose as the cause for the caution, gonna bring things in at the rear of the field. Green flag flies. Wagner and Jagger gonna lead the charge out front. Jagger with a move to the inside. Wagner with the switch back down low. They swap. Jagger back up to the top spot. Now it's Wagner once again. Every corner they have swapped the lead for the last 2 laps. Slight advantage to Wagner that time around. Now Wagner's opting to take that midline. It's Wagner, Jagger, Halopka, Willing, Keller, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As we're halfway through our Heat 2 of the K&K Racing Micro Sprints class. Another lap out front for Wagner. Jagger gonna slightly bump the outside fence there. Gonna lose a little bit of ground on the 8W of Wagner. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go for our micro sprint class. It's gonna be a drag race to the line. Checkered flag flies for the 8W of Jaden Wagner, taking the heat race win. The UFO of Cade Jagger gonna have to settle for a hard-fought second. Halopka will round out your podium in our second of 2 heat races in the K&K Racing Micro Sprint class. And all of this has led up to our final heat race of the evening, our Gopher Midget Racing Series class. 6 racers making the call tonight. Sitting on the pole out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota, it's the 19 of Jack Berger, alongside Carter Jensrud behind the wheel of the C71 out of River Falls, Wisconsin. Jensrud, fresh off a heat race win in the micro sprint class, going to see if he can come around and do it again in the Gopher Midget class. Inside row number 2, Menomonie's very own Kirsten Koss behind the wheel of the 20 machine, alongside Johnny Parsons III, JP3, the 85 out of Owatonna, Minnesota. Row number 3 has Nowthen, Minnesota's Ryan Bowers behind the wheel of the 55, and the 46G of Jackson Jiraji, racing out of Ellsworth, Wisconsin. 6 racers, 8 laps in our Gopher Midget Racing Series class. All 6 of our Gopher Midgets out on the track. Looks like we're trying to get one of them fired up there on the front stretch. We'll get everyone in their correct starting order here before we go green flag racing. Here we're going to tighten things up a bit on the back stretch. 19 of Jack Berger. Alongside the C71 of Jensrud out on the front row. Here we see the 55 of Bowers crossing the line. Going to give them a couple laps here to get into their correct starting lineup. There we go. I believe we now have everyone in their correct starting lineup there. Got the 55 of Bowers back to the third row. Now we have the green light out. And it's Berger and Jensrud side by side through 1 and 2. A 4-racer battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th right behind. As out front, Jensrud going to take the slight advantage that time by. Now you'll see, for those of you live streaming tonight, looks as though Jensrud's transponder having some issues there. So it shows the 19 of Berger in the lead. Berger's actually going to be sitting in second ahead of a 3-racer battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th between the 20 of Koss, the 55 of Bowers, and the 85 of JP3. Slight advantage that time by to the 20 of Koss in 3rd, but Bowers trying to make a move, see if he can get onto that podium for the Gopher Midget Racing Series heat race. Up into the guardrails through 1 and 2. The 20 of Koss going to lose a little bit of ground as we've got 1 lap left to go for your heat race winner, taking the checkered flag with a near half lap advantage. It's the C71 of Carter Jensrud taking the win. 19 of Berger going to cross the line second, and it's the 20 of Koss rounding out your top 3 unofficially for your Gopher Midget Racing Series Heat Race. Jensrud, your current points championship leader in the Gopher Midget Racing Series class here at Thunderhill Speedway, with a 95-point gap between himself and the 19 of Jack Berger in second. Jensrud has won 2 of the 3 races so far this season in this class. It has a dominating lead in the points championship.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out. Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, right.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellersells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
Welcome back, racers and race fans. And as you can see out on the track, it looks like we are taking this time to do a little bit of track prep here. So I believe we are moving into our intermission for the evening. Typically we do our rookie cage feature and our B mains beforehand. However, it looks like we're going to do a little swap up this week by. So now is the perfect time for those of you at the track right now. Feel free to get up, stretch your legs, run to the restroom, head over to the concession stand, grab some nice warm food, a cold beverage. Looks like we got a ton of rain yesterday, so we're making sure that we can tune the track up here to make sure the racers have the best racing surface they have. So we're going to take a little bit of time here, take a brief intermission. Feel free to head on over to the concession stand, grab some food, and also for those of you live streaming tonight's events for free on MBTVsports.com, mymbtv.com, or through our affiliated Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter/X pages, feel free to scan that QR code in the upper right-hand side of the screen. Send us a couple bucks here to thank us for bringing some free racing coverage your way, and feel free to buy us a cheeseburger while you're at it to help out our live streaming efforts here. We're going to take a moment here to head on over to the concession stands ourselves, and you at home or you in the grandstands, feel free to stretch your legs, get some food in you, and we will be back with our B-mains and our feature races here momentarily.
Every race has its heroes. The drivers, the crews, the fans, and then there's Mark Meeks. By the time most people finish breakfast, Mark's already put in a full day's work, 10 hours on his feet in a warehouse. Then he heads straight to the racetrack, where he spends another night, standing behind a camera. Some people chase a paycheck. Mark chases the perfect shot. Heat, dust, rain, mud, long nights, flying clay, bad knees, sore back. Does he complain? Absolutely, constantly, and somehow he still never misses a lap. Every replay, every breathtaking shot, every unforgettable moment starts with one guy who'd rather be behind the camera than in front of it. He may be the grumpiest man in the pits, but he's also one of the hardest working. Thank you, Mark Meeks, the cornerstone cameraman of MBTV Sports. Now, go get some sleep. We all know you'll be back next week.
And it looks like we are going to bring our B-main out to start things off. Apologies on that. Thought we were going into a full intermission there. Looks like we were just doing a quick track prep session for our R-Box competitors as our B-main is about to start things off. Now remember, we had 2 heats of racers earlier on today. Only 12 racers able to make it into the A-main. 8 of them directly transferred into the A-main, which means 4 of our 7 racers out there going to be fighting for those final 4 transfer positions. Starting lineup has the 5S of Sammy Pettit out of Winona, Minnesota on the pole, alongside Gage Van House racing the 117 from Silver Bay, Minnesota. Ladysmith, Wisconsin's 30C of Cashton Lear alongside Jack Smith racing the 21 out of Fall Creek, Wisconsin, will make up row number 2. Row number 3 has the 22T of Downsville, Wisconsin's Theo LeBlond alongside Camden Clemenson racing the 54 from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, and Julian Logslet currently sitting in second place in the point standings, racing the 13 out of Colfax, Wisconsin in that 7th and final place position. We're going to bring our racers through 3 and 4. Green flag is out. Pettit's going to lead the charge through 1 and 2. Now remember, only 4 of the racers out there are going to make a transfer into the A main later on. So 3 of our racers will be coming to a close on their evening tonight at the end of this race. 8 laps in the B main. Pettit and Van House out front. LeBlond and Logslet currently battling for those final 2 transfer positions. And we got a little gap back to the 21 of Smith, just outside of our 4 transfer positions. Logslet looks to the inside. Now every place he is able to gain here during this B main is 1 spot better on the starting lineup for the A main if he wants to be able to battle it out with points championship leader Luke Pettit. During the A main, he's got to make up as much ground as possible. Logslet looks to the inside of the 30. A little over halfway through our B main for the R-Box class, as we've got 2 looping it around in turn number 2, and it looks like one of them is our race leader, the 5S of Pettit. Now Pettit was not only leading the race, but most importantly was in a transfer position. We'll see if Pettit, with 4 laps left to go, will be able to continue to finish the race in a transfer spot here. We're just trying to get the 5S of Pettit and the 54 of Clemenson unlodged from each other. There we go. Track crew able to help get them all situated. Going back to the last completed lap for this restart, we will be 4 laps down, 4 laps left to go, making it halfway through our B main. The 117 of Van House going to pull out front. 13 of Logslet going to line up second. 22T of LeBlond going to be in third, which leaves the 21 of Smith as your final transfer position. Like it's actually going to go to the 30C of Lear. Like they're just trying to get everything figured out here. There goes the 21 of Smith, the 5S of Pettit, and the 54 of Clemenson. We're going to go single file on this restart. Slow everyone back down here. Make sure everyone is set and ready to go. Our final 3 racers have to make their way around the track. So we're all lined up together here. So once again, it's Van House, Logslet. There, looks like we have the 30. The 30C of Lear, 22T of LeBlond. Then we have the 21 of Smith making his way up to the rear of the pack. 5S of Pettit and the 54 of Clemenson. Move the 21 around our two racers that caused that last caution there. Just need to get the 21 of Smith refired. There we go. He is back and at him and ready to go. Lined up in their correct restarting order. Now remember, halfway through this B main, and only 4 of our 7 racers out there going to make that transfer into the A main. Green light is out, and Van House going to lead the pack into 1 and 2. Pettit down to the inside with a smooth move past the 22T of LeBlanc, and Pettit is up into 4th place already. It looks like the 30C of Lear having some issues with his transponder, which is why he's up there. As Pettit loops it around in turn number 4. He's going to refire, but with 2 laps left, the caution is not going to be called. That may have been the final nail in the coffin for Pettit. As he tries to make up some ground. Oh, and it looks like Pettit is going to luck out and get that caution flag. Let's take a look here once again at what happened. All 4 of us going through 3 and 4. Pettit going to slide high and slam into the side of the 30C of Lear, I believe that was. The 22T of LeBlanc able to escape on the outside. And with Pettit being a part of 2 cautions there, is going to be brought into the infield. Sammy Pettit sitting in 5th place in the point standings. Not going to move into the A main. Rough one to see for Pettit. We started with 7, though. We're down to 6. Top 4 transferring through to the A main. There we go. We got the 117 of Van House out front. Logslit in 2nd. 30C of Lear in 3rd. 22T of LeBlanc is your final transfer position right now. 21 of Smith and 54 of Clemenson round out the field. Through 3 and 4, green flag flies for Van House and Logslit out front. Logslit biding his time in 2nd. He's slowly peeking down to the inside of Van House, seeing if he might be able to take that inside line away. But the 30C of Lear is hot on their tail. He looks to the outside. White flag this time by. 1 more lap to go for Van House and Logslit out front. Lear trying to get into the mix as well as Logslit ducks down low. He's not able to secure the pass. 2 turns left to go. Checkered flag's gonna fly, and it's the 117 of Gage Van House taking the B main win here today in the R box class. 13 of Logslit gonna settle for 2nd, and it's the 22T of Theo LeBlanc rounding out your top 3 in the B main. The 21 of Jack Smith going to take that final transfer position to the A main, and we will be seeing those 4 racers later on tonight in our A main. Up next, though, we're going to move into our first feature race of the evening, our rookie cage class. So we'll send those 3 youngsters out there to get things started, give them the green flag right away. And let's give you your starting lineup for our rookie cage class. We have the 4T7 out of Menomonie. That is Tucker Christensen. Carter Knutson racing the 12 out of Colfax, Wisconsin. And Rowdy Junker racing the Stanley, Wisconsin, number 36. As they get their green flag, they'll make their way around the 6 Mile Oval here at Thunder Hill Speedway. Close quarters action there between the 4T7 of Christensen as the 12 of Knutson looks to make a move on the outside. Knutson with a smooth pass in the books. Now you'll remember from the heat race here, Knutson kept looking at that outside line on Christensen, seeing if it might be able to work there. Now with this rookie cage class, these are youngsters absolutely brand new to the sport. Might be brand new to racing in general, being behind the wheel of a kart. And so we take things a little smoother here. Our racers are going to be doing the same as well. You might see them peeking to the outside, looking down low, but still doing all they can to understand the fundamentals of racing here on a real racetrack. We go 10 laps for our rookie cage racers, as the 12 of Knutson puts another lap in the books there. And man, with a clear track ahead of him, Knutson making it look easy out there. He's feeling comfortable with the kart, with the track conditions. Now, you know, we did have quite a bit of rain here yesterday, which is why we did that early track prep session. But it looks like it's working for the 12 of Knutson. The track seems to be dialed in for our rookie cage racers. The 4T7 of Christensen also putting in some solid laps as well, as Christensen goes another lap in the books. Just 2 racers out there learning the fundamentals of the sport, what it's like to be out on the track there. The 4T7 of Christensen, just a mere 5 years old, and already behind the wheel of a rookie cage kart. I could barely walk when I was 5 years old, let alone race a machine out on a track with other competitors. But he's looking solid out on the track. He's got a feel for it, as the 12 of Carter Knutson is going to take the checkered flag, along with the 4T7 of Menomonie's very own Tucker Christensen. Now, another thing we're going to do a little differently here in this rookie cage class, if you're new to the Thunder Hill Speedway facilities, because both of these racers are so young and putting forward their best foot, learning how to be kart racers here, we're going to give both of them the chance to move into the infield and understand the glories of what it's like. Oh, there's the 4T7 of Christensen. Tucks down to the infield, but wants another lap out on the track there. So he's going to move his way back around the track one more time. Anyways, as I was saying, we're going to send both of our racers into the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane here tonight to give them a feel for what it's like, as Christensen is not ready to bring his night to a close. He's going to keep looping around the track. Track crew trying to race him, dragging onto the side there. Boy, oh boy, Christensen doesn't want to stop this kart. Now tell me, folks, if you've ever seen something like before. There we go, our four-wheeler able to finally bring Christensen's race to a close there. Christensen putting his hands up, saying, "What do you mean? I'm out on the racetrack trying to get things done." We're going to have a quick chat before we get to victory lane momentarily. And there, after an eventful post-race celebratory victory lap there, both of our racers have made it into the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane. So let's hear a round of applause for the 4T7 of Tucker Christensen and the 12 of Carter Knutson, our rookie cage racers tonight. With our rookie cage A main in the books, it looks like now we're going to take our official intermission here. So we will be back in just about 10-15 minutes, give or take, with our R-Box main event. So for those of you at home streaming on MBTV Sports, feel free to get up, stretch your legs, send a quick thank you using that QR code in the upper right-hand corner. For those of you at Thunderhill Speedway right now, feel free to get up, head on over to the concession stand and join the MBTV crew for a cheeseburger at the concession stand, and we will be back to Green Flag Racing momentarily.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bowl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
At AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out. Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thank you.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
Yeah, Butler Build has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like, you know, there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day, so as me as a sprint car driver specifically, you know, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different, and guys like us, you know, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats, and felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seats. So, yeah, it's been a fun ride, and hope to continue the relationship for a long time.
Need auto parts? You know Conrad's Auto Salvage and ASAP Used Auto Parts, two great companies, now one location near Mondovi. We've appreciated your business in Eau Claire. Now you'll find all the same parts and services at our location near Mondovi. We can mount and balance tires, plus do oil changes and more. All the same services in one incredible facility. Conrad's Auto Salvage and ASAP Used Auto Parts, two great companies, now one location near Mondovi for all your auto parts needs.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellercells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter. With over 10 years of experience and a passion for real estate, Kathy Vetter helps you find the perfect home, a peaceful country retreat, a cozy single-family house, or your very first step toward a lifetime home. She also specializes in commercial real estate, guiding you through every step of the way. From the heart of the metro to the scenic countryside, Kathy Vetter knows the Minnesota market inside and out, committed to finding the perfect fit for you, no matter where you are. Buying your first home can feel overwhelming, but with Vetter by your side, it's a smooth and exciting journey. She makes first-time buyers feel confident, supported, and understood, every single step of the way. From your first showing to handing over the keys, Kathy Vetter works tirelessly to ensure you get the home you've always wanted. Kathy Vetter, your trusted real estate expert across Minnesota. From vibrant metro living to serene countryside escapes to agricultural and commercial spaces. Let her help you unlock the door to your next chapter.
Kevco has been an industry leader in high-performance oil pans and components for over 35 years. Made in Fairmont, Minnesota, Kevco prides itself on being American-made. Kevco has expanded our product line way beyond just oil pans to valve covers, breather systems, jack stands, boilers, wheel sockets, and much, much more. Check out KevcoRacing.com to see everything we have to offer, including our line of street, off-road, and performance oil pans and accessories. Or call 800-770-3557 to talk with our friendly customer service today.
Welcome back, racers and race fans. And we are almost ready to go for the remaining features of the evening. We've already been through our heat races, our B main, and our first of 8 A mains. But now we'll be moving on to the rest of our classes here momentarily. Before we get into tonight's feature racing action, just want to take a moment here to take a look at what we have coming up over the next few months here throughout the rest of the season at Thunder Hill Speedway in Menomonie, Wisconsin. Tonight we have round number 4 of the QualityFreightRate.com Storm Series. Tonight's events sponsored and brought to you by Dunn Energy Cooperative and Red Cedar Speedway. Dunn Energy Cooperative started in the mid-30s with the creation of the Rural Electrification Administration. Been around for nearly 100 years. Today, their 29 employees serve nearly 10,000 accounts and are your local Touchstone Energy cooperative and promise to serve you with integrity, accountability, innovation, and a commitment to community. Cedar Speedway is one of the premier dirt track racing facilities in the area, featuring 6 classes of exciting racing every Friday night from April through September. I want to give a huge shout out to both of our premier sponsors for tonight's racing action to allow us to bring you some side-by-side battles all night long. And there, it looks like we have our first full-length feature race officially making their way out onto the track. We've already seen a few of these racers out there once this evening for the B mains, but now we'll move into our R-Box A feature. 12 racers made their way into the A main. Starting lineup on the pole. Out of Spring Valley, Wisconsin, it's the 19H of Henrik Hollerud. And to his right, your current points championship leader, the 4 out of Winona, Minnesota, it's Luke Pettit. Row number 2 has the 3J of Paxton Friedrich and Onyx Webb inside the 19X. Behind them in row number 3, Josiah Hoffbeck piloting the 17 and the 22 of Dirks LeBlond. Sullivan Thill racing the 95 and Barrett Evans in the 88E round out row number 4. And from the B main transfers, the 117 of Gage Van House and Julian Logslet in the 13. And the 30C of Cashton Lear and the 22T of Theo LeBlond round out your field as the green flag is out and we're going 3 wide into 1 and 2. A little bump and a little banging, and it's the 4 of Luke Pettit, your points championship leader, who's out front alone early on. Right behind him, he's got a whole swarm of R-Box racers nipping at his heels, trying to get by. Friedrich in the 3J sitting in second, just about half a second back, an equidistance back. We have a side-by-side battle for third and fourth between the 19H of Hollerud and the 22 of LeBlond, as LeBlond's able to make the full pass to secure that third place position on the podium. One kart to keep your eye on, however, the 13 of Julian Logslet, currently sitting in second place in the point standings, had to transfer through from the B main, has already made his way up to just outside of the top 5. He's sitting in 6th as he moves by the 95 of Phil. Logslet is on a mission tonight, trying to do all he can to secure as many points as possible. He wanted to be battling up front with the 4 of Pettit, but to do that, he's got to make his way past 10 other racers in the meantime. Halfway through this 12-lap A feature, and Pettit has it locked out front, a near second gap between himself and the 3J of Frederick. But Friedrich has company to his inside as the 22 of LeBlond looks down low. Friedrich's going to shut the door. LeBlond going to move back to that outside line, see if he can get any traction up there to swoop on past the 3J of Friedrich. Little space before we get back to the 19H of Hollerud and the 19X of Webb, rounding out your top 5. Man, check out the 22 of LeBlond all over the tail end of Friedrich. A little slip up through 4 gives LeBlond the chance to move to the outside. LeBlond now up to that second place position. Friedrich going to move back to third, but he's not going to give up the battle. Almost slides into the rear side of LeBlond as 2 laps are left to go. The battle on the track is for second and third. Pettit has absolutely checked out front. White flag is going to fly, and a full straightaway gap between himself and the battle for second and third. Final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag is going to fly, and he's extending his points lead. That's the 4 of Luke Pettit with the win. Who's got second, though? The 22 of Theo LeBlond. Going to cross the line, or Dirks LeBlond, my apologies. The 22 of Dirks LeBlond going to cross the line second, and it's the 3J of Paxton Friedrich rounding out your podium. In the R-Box A main, going into tonight, Pettit had an 8-point gap between himself and Logslet in second, and he is only going to grow that distance. 2 feature race wins in the R-Box class this year. has only lost one race so far, and now he's going to go 3 for 4. And as he pulls his way into the Dunn Energy Cooperative Red Cedar Speedway victory lane here at Thunderhill Speedway, he's going to get himself situated, unbuckle from his cart. We already see the family making their way up to celebrate in victory lane with him. Family giving him the fist bumps already, getting all situated, ready to celebrate. He's going to climb on out of his cart. And the domination streak continues. So let's hear a huge round of applause for your R-Box feature race winner. It's the number 4 of Luke Pettit. As Luke Pettit celebrates his well-deserved time in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane, we'll start getting things all situated and give you your starting lineup for our next feature race of the evening, our BP Wing class. 14 racers. We just narrowly escaped a B main in this class. So 14 racers going to be making the call today. And the starting lineup on the inside of row number 1 out of Menomonie, Wisconsin, it's the 7D JR of Kinsley Schmutz, side by side with the Trempealeau, Wisconsin, number 8 of Alan Byrne. Archer Hoffbeck out of Randolph, Minnesota, going to be racing the 14 on the inside of row number 2, side by side with Colfax, Wisconsin's Otto Erickson in the 32. Row number 3 to the inside has the 36 of Henry Junker out of Stanley, Wisconsin. And to his right, the 1T of Superior, Wisconsin's Tanner Johnson. Inside row number 4 from Wheeler, Wisconsin, the 23 of Harper Halapka. Alongside Trip Swan racing the 18T out of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Row number 5 has the Spring Valley, Minnesota, number 26 of Kimber Zimmer and Colfax, Wisconsin's Oakley Booth in the 16. Row number 6. To the inside, out of Ellsworth, Wisconsin, it's the 7B of Brandon Giraji and Easton Schultz racing the 7S from Menomonie, Wisconsin. And in that 7th and final row, to the inside, out of Elk Mound, Wisconsin, it's the 44 of Levi Anderson. And starting dead last on the back straightaway, car number 14, it is the 3J of Winona, Minnesota's Jonathan Pettit III. Pettit, only 7 points ahead of the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck, has quite a bit of ground to make up if he wants to hold on to the points championship tonight. And only 12 laps to do it. We'll send our racers another lap around the track here. Tighten things up a bit before we go green flag racing. Going to send them another lap around the Thunderhill Speedway 6th mile, as it looks as though we had been waiting on one of our racers. Seems as though that may be, if I caught it correctly, the 7B of Brandon Giraji. He's going to make his way up to the rear of the pack there. Giraji starting on the inside of row number 6. Have everyone tightened up on the back stretch. Green light is out through 3 and 4, and it's going to be the 8 of Alan Byrne leading the charge through the first 2 turns, bumping and banging throughout 4th on back, as Byrne's now off the pace. Not sure what happened there. And now I am sure. It looks as though our caution flags are going to come out. Didn't quite see what called the caution. will still get them all relined up. Once again, may not have been the start we were looking for. So there we have the 7DJR of Schmutz and the 8 of Byrne out front. The 32 of Erickson getting out of line a little early on the outside, as we've got one card off the pace in turn number 4. And some carnage in turn number 1. And uh-oh, the 8 of Byrne, one of your front row racers, into the mix, along with the 18T of Swan. We're going to try to get them unlocked. I was so focused on turn number 4 and the car off the pace there, didn't even see what happened in turn number 1 here.
Come and follow me, soon you're gonna see that we ain't playing around until we making history. Floating like a butterfly till I touch the sky. I got big dreams, always aim a little high. Plotting for a while, now it's time to run it up. I was built for this, watch us how I turn it up. I'ma tear it up, you will never stop me. Throw your hands up high if you feel me.
Swan is up and running, but the 8 of Byrne seeming to still have some issues there, trying to get that left-hand panel off the cart to keep it from rubbing on the tires there. And from dragging on the ground. And unfortunately for the 8 of Alan Byrne, it looks as though his night may be coming to a close. He gets the push off the front stretch. Now, are we going to see him loop it around or make his way into the infield? They're going to try one last effort there to get that side panel off before we go green flag racing. Look at that. Byrne is back on the track. Better than closing the night off early, but unfortunately for him, he was supposed to start on the front row, but after being involved in that caution there, it looks as though he'll be starting off the race on the back now. 14th place with quite a bit of ground to make up. Byrne currently sitting in 3rd place in the point standings. Only 9 points ahead of the 16 of Oakley Booth. They have a little bit of work ahead of him. However, I stand corrected as it looks as though Byrne able to get his spot back at the front. We are going to go single file, however, through 3 and 4. Not quite close enough. So we're going to try to tighten the field up a little bit more before we go back to green flag racing. 7DJR of Schmutz, 8 of Byrne, 14 of Hoffbeck, 32 of Erickson, and 36 of Junker are your top 5 as the green light is out. Schmutz going to lead the charge through 1 and 2. And already grow a gap between themselves and a side-by-side battle between Hoffbeck and Byrne. Hoffbeck's able to sneak down the inside, move up to that 2nd place spot. The 8 of Byrne's going to drop back to 3rd, and now Byrne's got company behind him as the 36 of Junker He's trying to look to the inside. A little bit of space before we get back to the 18T of Swan, who's got a 4-racer battle hot on his tails. Just outside of the top 5, Junker able to make his way by the 8 of Burn. As you can see that corner panel there flapping in the breeze. Looks like they weren't able to get it fully off there, but keep it from scraping against the tires. Out front, the 7DJR of Schmutz holding on strong to the lead, but Archer Hoffbeck sitting in second, biding his time, just like he is in the point standings right now. He's going to do so on the track. He's going to keep an eye on the 7DJR of Schmutz and find the best time to try to make his move here. We're only halfway through this A main, so he's got time, but he found the zone, snuck down to the inside, and Hoffbeck is your new race leader. The 7DJR of Schmutz going to move back to second. Junker rounding out your top 3. Byrne and Booth sitting in 4th and 5th. And as it stands, there is quite a gap between the 14 of Hoffbeck and the 3J of Pettit. So it looks as though we may be seeing a new points championship leader at the end of this evening. Could even see the same for the 8 of Byrne, as he could potentially move up to second. Close quarters battle for second and third between Schmutz and Junker, as Hoffbeck has absolutely checked out. A near 1.5 second gap between himself and that battle for second and third, as the checkered flag is out for the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck. 7DJR of Schmutz going to hold on for second. The 36 of Junker will round out your top 3. But it's the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck with the victory lap, as we officially have a new points championship leader going into round number 5 in a couple weeks. And as Archer Hoffbeck pulls in Energy Cooperative, Red Cedar Speedway, Victory Lane, he's already won 1 feature this season. Now he's made it 2. He'll make his way out of his cart. Give Dad a hug, checkered flag in hand. Let's hear it for your feature race winner, Archer Hoffbeck. And as Hoffbeck celebrates his time in Victory Lane, we'll get things all started for your next feature race, our Sportsman class. We had a heck of a show in the heat races earlier on today. Let's see what the features are going to bring out. As your starting lineup on the pole has Rock Falls, Wisconsin's 55 of Trayton Velchek, your current points championship leader. Looking for the clean sweep here. On the inside of row number 1, side by side with the 74 of Jake Johnson, racing out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. On the outside, row number 2 as the 105 of Rock Falls, Wisconsin's Ashton Henshin, alongside Ramon Perez, racing the 25 out of Barron, Wisconsin. And in that third and final row, the 27 of Henry Skox out of Menomonie, Wisconsin, and Gene Suprai, racing the 97 from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. 6 racers, 12 laps for our Sportsman feature race. Trayton Velchek, 3 races in, 3 feature race wins. Will he continue to be the only racer at the track this year with the clean sweep? Not if Jake Johnson has anything to say about it. Velchek gonna lead the crew through the first lap. But Johnson on the outside in the 74 looks to make a move there. He tucks down low, sees if he can make that inside line work. All the while, the 25 of Perez gonna go down to the inside, seeing if he can make a move there. We're 3 wide on the front stretch. Through 1 and 2. Perez now up to the top spot. Johnson back to second. Velchek in third as Johnson now sets his sights on Perez. Johnson to the inside. A little swipe and move there. Velchek going to get into the side, which gives the chance for the 105 of Hentgen to move up to third place. 3 laps in, and we've already had quite a bit of moving around in our top 4. Velchek's back to 4th. Hentgen's up to 3rd. Johnson's still in 2nd, but it's the 25 of Ramon Perez holding on to the lead, and he is starting to distance himself from the 74 of Johnson. Velchek all the while still trying to at least get back up into the podium. Ashton Hentgen has 2 top 5s this season. Currently sitting in 4th in the point standings, trying to get onto the podium. But Velchek's going to sneak down to the inside, up to 3rd, with only 4 laps left to go and a whole lot of Hentgen on his tail. Will he have a chance to reel in our top 2 racers and try to make a move for 2nd or 3rd? We start to make our way through some lap traffic, but the 25 of Perez has a near half-second gap between himself and the 74 of Johnson. But it seems to be slightly diminishing, but with only 2 laps left to go, it may be too little too late. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go. And it's 2 turns between himself and glory. Checkered flag, and for the first time this year, we have a new feature race winner in the Sportsman class, and it's the 25 of Ramon Perez taking the win. The 74 of Jake Johnson going to cross the line 2nd, give a congratulatory fist bump, along with the 55 of Trayton Velchek, also with the fist bump across the line, finishing 3rd. And as he pulls into the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane, let's hear it for your first new feature race winner in the Sportsman class this season, the 25 of Ramon Perez. Well, Perez celebrates with his family in the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane. We'll start off with your starting grid for your next main event of the evening, our Mod BP Wing class. 6 racers on the lineup, and sitting on the pole, the 14 out of Randolph, Minnesota, that's Archer Hoffbeck, fresh off a feature race win in the BP Wing class. We'll see if he's able to bring it again in the Mod BP Wing class. And alongside him, your current points championship leader, the 44 out of Stanley, Wisconsin, that's Reese Smith. Inside row number 2, it's the 8X of Trempealeau, Wisconsin's Alan Byrne. And Russell, Iowa's 17 of Trenton Peterson. And in row number 3, the 27 out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, that's Xander Glumsky. And Kennedy Cluckus piloting the 8 from Colfax, Wisconsin. Green flag is out, and Hoffbeck wants to go 2 for 2 on the night as he leads through 1 and 2. Our top 3 racers, as the 8X of Burn gets a little slideways through 1 and 2 there. He's going to lose a little bit of ground. But our top 3 racers are the ones to keep an eye on. Reese Smith in the 44, your current points champion. Only 2 points behind is the 8X of Burn, and a mere 1 point behind him. 3 points behind the leader is the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck. If either Archer Hoffbeck or Alan Byrne take the win tonight, we will for sure see a new points championship leader going into round number 5. And Hoffbeck, fresh off the feature race win in the BP wing class, has a full head of steam going. And a near second gap before we get back to the 44 of Smith. 8X of Burns sitting in third, and it's the 27 of Glumsky, the 17 of Peterson, and the 8 of Cluckus. But Cluckus trying to give Peterson a run for his money as he's all over the tail end of the 17, trying to make his way into the top 5. Halfway through our Mod BP Wing feature race. And Hoffbeck has got a feel for the track, for the racing surface. He knows exactly what he needs to do to get it done. Our top 3 fully distanced from 4th on back, just as we see in the point standings as well. 2 laps separate ourselves from a dual feature race winner on the evening, along with a dual new points championship leader. White flag is out, final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag flies once again for the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck. The 44 of Reese Smith going to cross the line second, and it's the 8X of Alan Byrne rounding out your top 3. And he's going to put a victory lap around the books because Archer Hoffbeck has quite a bit to celebrate. Not only does he have 2 feature wins on the night, a clean sweep of the evening, but if my math is correct, he may be the new points championship in not 1, but 2 classes. The new points championship leader for both the BP wing class and the Mod BP wing class going into round number 5. You know him, you love him, we've seen him here once already tonight, but still, let's give a huge round of applause to your Mod BP wing feature race winner, the 14 of Archer Hoffbeck. Two feature race wins, the new points championship leader in 2 separate classes. Boy, oh boy, it doesn't get much better than that for the Hoffbeck family. And as Archer celebrates a very well-deserved feature race win in Victory Lane, we'll get your starting lineup ready to go for our next class on the evening, our 125-250 wing class. Sitting on the pole, racing the UFO out of Madison, Wisconsin, it's Holden Harder, alongside the 29 of Menomonie's very own Caleb Kropp. Inside row number 2, racing out of Pella, Iowa, the 52 of Knox Peterson, alongside the UFO 2 of Brody Conkey, racing out of Elk Mound, Wisconsin. Row number 3 has Indianola, Iowa's Marshall Dawson behind the wheel of the 6D, and Tyler Alton piloting the 22X from New Richmond, Wisconsin. Row number 4 rounds out the field with Landon Suprai behind the wheel of the 99JR from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and Rice Lake, Wisconsin's 22 of Davin Hauk. 8 racers, 12 laps in our 125-250 wing class. Still a couple races left this evening. If you haven't already, it's the last chance to send the live streaming link to your friends and family. They can still check out the last couple races of the evening. We want to send a final quick shout out to our streaming sponsors for tonight. Old World Meats, Kevco Oil Pans and Components, Kaiser Racing Wheels, QualityFreightRate.com, General Rooter, and Justice Brothers. If it weren't for our streaming partners tonight, we wouldn't have been able to bring the free live coverage of tonight's racing action to all of you wonderful folks. Live streaming tonight on MBTV Sports. We'd love to continue the free coverage. So if you haven't already, feel free to send us some love using that QR code in the upper right-hand corner of the screen in hopes that we will be able to continue our free coverage throughout more of the rest of this season. And while we're talking sponsors, we also want to send some love to some of the Thunderhill Speedway sponsors we have along for the ride this season. QualityFreightRate.com, Auto Value Parts Stores, Conrad's Auto Salvage, People's State Banks, Culver's of Menomonie, Coyote's Den, Timber Inn Bar and Grill, JK Concrete LLC, Accurate Construction, Haas Inc., TNT Construction, Dick's Fresh Market, Liquid Nitro, Residlo's Old World Meats, and Doan LTD, all along for the ride for the 2026 racing season here at Thunderhill Speedway. If you or anyone you know are interested in joining along as either streaming or track sponsors, feel free to reach out. We love being able to work with companies in the community who have a love of racing alongside with them. Tires are warm, racers are at the ready. We'll send them onto the back stretch in a tight formation. As the 29 of Crop is off the pace. Not quite sure if he's stalled it. And unfortunately for the 29 of Caleb Crop, it looks as though his feature race has come to a close before it's even started. He was going to start on the front line. He's sitting fourth in the point standings, but he is off the track. Hard night for the 29 of Caleb Crop, which now means we've got a double UFO front line as the UFO of Holden Harder is on the inside, and the UFO 2 of Brody Conkey moves to the outside. Right as I say it, though, it looks like it's actually going to be the 52 of Knox Peterson moving to the outside of the front row. Lineup seems to be good, so the green flag flies in 3 and 4, and we are racing. Harder getting sideways through 2. He's going to make it harder for those other racers to get on by, but they all sneak through without any issues. And that is going to draw the caution. And it's definitely not how your current points championship leader wants to start off the race, as now he's got to start on that back row. Let's take a look at what happened here. We move through 1 and 2. Tucks it down low. Looks like there was a slight touch there with the 52 of Peterson. Peterson was able to hold the slide and keep it straight ahead, but Harder was unable to do so. But luckily for Harder, it looks like he is going to get to keep his spot on the front row. And lead the pack into 1 and 2 once again. Right behind him, the 52 of Peterson holding on strong for second. Side-by-side battle for 3rd and 4th between the UFO 2 of Conkey and the 6D of Dawson. Dawson able to make the slight advantage there and hold on to sole possession of third that time by. 22X of Alton right behind, rounding out your top 5. Out front, Harder has pulled away from the 52 of Peterson, already a 2.5 second gap between himself and second place. Second behind them, we've got that tight-knit battle for third and fourth between Dawson and Conkey. Out front, though, making it look easy. Halfway through, 6 down, 6 to go. Harder putting the charge on. Conkey tried to make the move on Dawson there. He stuck to the outside. They're side by side. He looks to peek down low, but Dawson is able to shut the door on him. Dawson's like, I'm keeping this podium spot no matter what it takes. And with the 99 of Suprai going around in turn number 4, looks like the caution will come out and we'll re-rack and restack them with 4 laps left to go. Shaggy TVCC on YouTube sending a comment asking, where is this track? Well, Shaggy, right now you are watching the beautiful 6 Mile Oval at Thunder Hill Speedway in Menomonie, Wisconsin, which is a perfect time. If you haven't already, if you're watching the live stream on MBTV Sports or through our Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter pages, feel free to drop us a comment. Let us know where you guys are watching from. Our track is located in Menomonie, Wisconsin, over on the western edge of Wisconsin. We've had fans watch from obviously the Midwest, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Iowa, Illinois. We've had fans watch from the Eastern Coast, New York. We even had some racers watch from California once, outside of the country, Canada. So drop us a comment. Let us know where you guys are watching tonight, as we go green flag racing at Thunder Hill Speedway once again. Harder, again, making it look easy out front as we've got all sorts of bumping and banging between Dawson and Conkey. And a side-by-side battle right behind for that 5th place position as the 99 of Suprai is able to make his way past the 22X of Alton. White flag is out, 1 more lap to go. And it looks like your current points championship leader is going to extend that lead, as the UFO of Holden Harder takes the feature race win. The 52 of Knox Peterson going to cross the line in second, and it's the UFO 2 of Brody Conkey rounding out your podium in the 125-250 wing class. He's been on the top step of the podium twice already this season. Now he's going to go for his 3rd time. And as he pulls into the Thunder Hill Speedway victory lane, sponsored tonight by Dunn Energy Cooperative and Red Cedar Speedway, he'll climb out of his cart, take off his gear, grab onto that checkered flag, and let's hear a huge round of applause for your 125-250 wing feature race winner, the UFO of Holden Harder. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, who is ready to go K&K Racing Micro Sprint Racing today? "15 racers, 25 laps. Let's hear your starting lineup for our micro sprint class. Starting on the inside of row number 1, Out of Kewaskum, Wisconsin, it's the UFO of Cade Yeager, side by side with your current points championship leader. Apologies, I misread that. Cade Yeager, your current points championship leader, alongside the C71 of Carter Jensrud out of River Falls, Wisconsin. Row number 2, making the long haul from Welcome, North Carolina, it's the 8W of Jaden Wagner, alongside Tyler Polofsky racing the 323 out of Stacy, Minnesota. Welch, Minnesota's 99 of Mason Subert, and Ellsworth, Wisconsin's Jackson Jiraji in the 46G make up row number 3. Row number 4, we have Bentley Halapka behind the wheel of the Wheeler, Wisconsin 99X, and Riley Dawson piloting the 13M from Indianola, Iowa. Row number 5 out of Elko, Minnesota, it's the 18R of Leighton Rose, and Menomonie's very own Grant Keller behind the wheel of the 31. Row number 6 out of Becker, Minnesota, it's the 128 of Marshall Willing on the inside, and Derek Jiraji on the outside racing the 48G from Ellsworth, Wisconsin. Inside row number 7 out of St. Michael, Minnesota, it's Colin Eddy behind the wheel of the 99M, and the 23 of Kelly Koss out of Otter Creek, Wisconsin. And all alone in that 8th and final row, racing out of Watertown, Minnesota, it's the 16Z of Claire Zorn Turretin. We're going to do some light track prep here just to make sure everything is all good and ready to go for our K&K Racing Micro Sprints. As Joe Warer, Motorcycle Man on YouTube, states that he's from Ohio and doing a great, and thanking us for the great job of live streaming and announcing for tonight. Well, thank you, Joe, for attending tonight's race online. Shauna Timms saying, great job, Knox, watching from Oklahoma. So we've got viewers from Oklahoma, Ohio. Oliver in Peace saying hi from the home of the Silver Dollar Speedway, Chico, California. And Jeremy Bloom on Facebook watching from Altoona, Wisconsin. So everything from Altoona to California. And whoa, look at this. Drew2818 on YouTube. Hello, watching from Invercargill, New Zealand. Yes, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. Invercargill, New Zealand. I think that may be the farthest viewer we've ever seen. So far ahead, it's Friday morning there. Maybe even Friday early afternoon. Ricky Brockmiller used to work there, now live in North Carolina. My son races at Millbridge. So we've got viewers from not only all across the Midwest, all across the U.S., Mason Jensrud checking in from Washington, D.C., far East Coast, California, far West Coast. Damon Hunter Cards watching from Texas saying, keep up the good stuff, guys. We've got the far south of the U.S., Chad Sharon from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We've got viewers from New Zealand, all across the U.S., all checking in for some of the racing action here tonight at Thunder Hill Speedway in beautiful Menomonie, Wisconsin. As our 15 racers have pulled up to the line in our micro sprint class, starting lineup seems to be good, so we're going to tighten their form on the backstretch. Yeager and Jensrud leading the pack through 3 and 4 as the green light is out. It's Yeager down low, Jensrud opting to take that extreme high line, and it works wonders for the 8W of Wagner as he's able to sneak down low. Slides high, Jensrud cuts down low, Jensrud up to that second place spot as we've got a 3-wide battle for the lead. Yeager, Jensrud, Wagner, as we've got one racer off the pace. Looks like that's the 16Z of Zorn Turretin. All of our racers able to sneak on by around the outside or inside to avoid catastrophe there. But we're going to push the 16Z into the infield. And wow, that was an eventful opening lap there for our K&K Racing Micro Sprints as we had 3 separate race leaders. Yeager started it off. There was a moment where Jensrud took that spot The 8W of Wagner secured it later on, and it seems as though the UFO of current points championship leader Cade Yeager will be lucking out. He had just lost the lead, but the lap had not been completed. So he is able to start things off on the front row, all alone in this Delaware double file restart, which will leave the C71 of Gentrude and the 8W of Wagner as the two racers in that first full row right behind him. Bailey Kathleen on YouTube saying, watching from the same house as the announcer and sending me a happy birthday shout out. Thank you to my wife Bailey for watching the events from the other room here as we get all ready for a quick birthday celebration tomorrow in the Bailey household. Viewers on tonight's live stream from New Zealand and this household and everywhere in between across the line. Through 3 and 4, our micro sprints are going to get the green flag and put another lap in the books here. As Wagner cuts down low, starts to lead, but the UFO of Yeager gives it his all on the outside. Across the start-finish line, I believe it was slight advantage to the UFO of Wagner, or of Yeager. 8W of Wagner, 7 1/1000ths of a second behind in second place. Gensrud getting in on the mix as well, as he has slight advantage through 1 and 2. A 5-6 racer battle just outside of the top 5, right behind this 3-wide battle for the lead. We've had 3 separate race leaders in the past few laps here. Yeager in the UFO, your current race leader. Gensrud, the C71, right behind in second. Wagner in the 8W, rounding out your top 3. Yeager, your current points championship leader, but the 8W of Wagner is only 5 points behind, as now the 13D is off the pace. That might be Dawson. So we're going to give another chance for our racers to re-rack, restack. We're only 5 laps into this micro sprint feature race. 20 laps left to go. So we're only a fifth of our way through this race. There is still, and we've already had multiple changes for the lead, so there's still a lot of race left to see who's going to hold on to the top spot here. Yeager in the UFO going to restart out front. In the first full row, the C71 of Gensrud and 8W of Wagner, as Gensrud's going to pull down to the inside. Chat with one of our officials quick. He's going to pull back in line. Takes his spot back on the inside of that first full row in this Delaware double file restart. The 99 of Suber and the 46G of Jiraji going to make up the rest of your top 5. 15 racers started off on the grid tonight. We're still just finalizing the starting line, or the correct restart order. I want to make sure we start things off correctly here before we go back to green flag racing momentarily. Here we have another cart come to a stop in turn 3. But we have a moment here. I want to take another quick moment to thank a few more of our sponsors for the season. Great American Fireplace, Menomonie Flooring Center, Hoffman Homes, Denny's Appliance, David Jorgensen State Farm, GRP Motorsports, Henderson's Excavating and Landscape Supply, Shackleton Tree Service, and Natural Touch Landscaping all along for the ride for the 2026 racing season. If you see any of our sponsors out in the community or online for those of you viewing from other states and other countries, make sure to give them a thank you for joining for all season long here at Thunderhill Speedway. If it weren't for our great sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring you live racing action every other week throughout the summer here. So make sure to support them the same way that they have supported our racing efforts here. Another lap around this 6 mile oval. But we're tightening it up now, and I believe we will be seeing our green flag next time by. Green light is out. Jaeger gonna lead the charge through 1 and 2. Jensrud right behind in second. Wagner in third. Jensrud tries to sneak up by on the inside, but Jaeger puts his foot down. He's gonna do a slide pass through 3 and 4. Still slight advantage to Jaeger. Onto the backstretch. Jensrud has it for a moment, but now we've got a 4-wide battle through turn number 4 as the 99 of Subert gets into the mix. We stay 4 wide through 1 and 2. It's Jaeger, Jensrud, Wagner, Subert, 1, 2, 3, 4. Onto the front straightaway. Jaeger still holding on to that race lead. Jensrud and Wagner battling it out for second and third as the 99 of Subert has lost a tiny bit of ground, but not too much. The 128 of Willing also trying to get into the mix as well. Boy, oh boy, 4 wide on this 6 mile oval. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. As our micro sprints give it their all week in and week out. We've got one looping it around in 1 and 2. We were able to add a few more laps to the books there. Only 16 laps left to go. And it looks as though it's the 48G of Derek Giraji, who went around in 1 and 2, and it looks like that will be the end of his feature race for the day. Up front, Jaeger still holding on to the race lead. Jensrud in the C71 and Wagner in the 8W make up that first full row in the Delaware double file restart. Right behind them, the 99 of Mason Subert and the 128 of Marshall Willing. Willing started 11th, has made his way up through the top 5, and oh my, the C71 of Carter Jensrud has pulled off the track. He was sitting in second place. I'm not sure what happened to Jensrud there, but it seems as though his micro sprint feature race has come to a close in a shocking turn of events. Jensrud was sitting 6th in the points going into tonight's racing action. Wonder if we'll see him next race in the Gopher Midget Racing Series or if his full night has come to a close. But back on the track, 16 laps left to go. And now it's going to be Wagner in the 8W and the 99 of Subert making up that first full row. Bubba K on YouTube says, "Let's go Pavlovsky 323. Pavlovsky sitting just outside of the top 5. As another lap goes in the books, it's Jaeger, Wagner, Subert, Giraji, Willing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jaeger holding on to the lead. Wagner sole possession of second, but the 99 of Subert's battling down low, seeing if he can make moves work there. All the while, the 46G of Jiraji and the 128 of Willing are side by side for those final two spots in the top 5. A little bit of space before we get back to a battle for 6th on back. And this may now be turning into a 3-cart battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th between Subert, Willing, and Jiraji. As Willing looks to go down low beneath Subert, see if he can make a step up onto the podium tonight. Out front, the UFO of Cade Jaeger with a second gap between himself and the 8W of Jaden Wagner. Jaeger loving that extreme high line through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Look at him kicking up the dust on this nice cushion track on the outside. Able to get right up by the guardrails there. The 8W of Wagner looking to do the same, taking that high line as well. That 3-racer battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th still raging on. Only a second between those 3 racers. Subert, Willing, Jiraji, 1, 2, 3. As they battle for that final podium position. Five laps left to go as we've got one looping it in 4, but they're going to save it. I think that may have been the 31 of Keller. He's going to go a lap down as the UFO of Jaeger is on a mission. He went from a 1-second gap back to Wagner to an over 2-second gap. As he's got nearly half a lap lead and growing over the 8W of Wagner. Little space before we get back to the 99 of Subert and the 128 of Willing. The 46G of Jiraji rounding out the top 5 as the white flag is out. One more lap to go, and we've got Sparks. But he's able to finish the UFO of Cade Jaeger, taking the feature race win today in the micro sprint class. It's the 8W of Jaden Wagner crossing the line in second, and the 99 of Mason Subert gonna round out your top 3. We saw sparks and flames coming out of that UFO, but he was able to hold on strong. He had 2 feature race wins in this class so far this year at Thunderhill Speedway. Now he's making it 3 out of 4. And as he pulls into the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane and takes off his gear, he extends his points championship lead. So let's hear it for your feature race winner in the micro sprint class, the UFO of Cade Jaeger! As he celebrates his time in victory lane, we'll begin giving you your final starting lineup of round number 4 of the 2026 race season here at Hills. But before we get into that, a quick reminder of what we have to come over the next few months here. Today is round number 4 of the Storm Series Championship. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, July 23rd for round number 5. Same time, same place. Pit gates open at 4:30 p.m. Last pill draw closes at 6. Racing starts at 7 p.m. Then we'll be back the following week for round number 6 of our mid-season money Storm Series race. For those of you on the live stream right now, we get to see a full group of sparks coming out through the UFO to round off that feature race. After round number 6, Wednesday, July 29th, we're going to have a near month-long break before we get to Thursday, August 20th, for round number 7, our alumni night and double points night to round off the season. The regular race season, I should say, the Storm Series Championship season. Then we'll move into a few special shows at the end of the year. But first, we have
Soon you gonna see that we ain't playing around until we making history. Floating like a butterfly till I touch the sky. I got big dreams, always aim a little high. Plotting for a while, now it's time to run it up. I was built for this, watch us how I turn it up. I'ma tear it up, you will never stop me. Throw your hands up high if you feel me.
And here we begin to slowly bring out our final feature racers of the evening. And we'll move into your starting lineup for the Gopher Midget Racing Series. Starting on the pole, it's scheduled to be the C71 of Carter Jensrud out of River Falls, Wisconsin. We just saw him drop out of the micro sprints race, so we'll see if he's able to make it out for the Gopher Midget race. To his right, it's scheduled to be the 19 of Jack Berger racing out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Inside row number 2, racing from Nowthen, Minnesota, it's the 55 of Ryan Bowers, alongside Kirsten Koss racing the 20 from Menomonie, Wisconsin. And in our third and final row, racing out of Owatonna, Minnesota, it's the 85 of Johnny Parsons III. And to his right, Jackson Giraji racing the 46G from Ellsworth, Wisconsin. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the two Girajis, it was just Jackson who made a top 5 finish in the micro sprint class just a few moments ago. So he's going to try to do a quick turnaround back out onto the track for our Gopher Midget Racing Series race. And while we have another quick moment, I want to take a final time for the evening to thank a few of our final sponsors for the season: Rowan Enterprises, Polish Enterprise LLC, Lewis Bjork and Family Septic Service, TL Signs Plumbing Inc., Cody Plumbing Inc., Cedar Lake Speedway and Red Cedar Speedway, Jig E Signs, K1 Race Gear by Ryan Bowers Motorsports, Hollywood Tan, Olson Funeral Home, Ace Hardware, Fleet Farm, Aaron Wold Snap-On, Eau Claire Diesel Service, Quality Auto Body Inc., A&M Fiberglass Manufacturing, Irvington Garage Towing, and Southside Body and Bike, all along for the season, where we have quite a bit of racing left to go this year. Not even halfway through the season. Tonight is round number 4. We had our Spring Chicken Challenge to start off the season beforehand, before we got into our Storm Series Championship races. We still have, after this evening, 3 more races left to go in the Storm Series Championship. Then we'll move into our final 2 races of the season, or rounds of races, I should say. Thursday through Sunday, September 3rd through the 6th. Make sure you stop on out or view the racing action on MBTV Sports for the Midwest Karting Grand Nationals. AJC Nationals and Thunderhill Speedway Nationals. Going to be a $4,000 to win micro sprint showdown. We'll also have our R-Box BP wing, mod BP wing, 125, 250 wings, 500 open wings, 125, 250, 500 wingless class, Sportsman flat carts, non-wing 600A class micro sprints, just about everything you could want for a great weekend of racing action. Huge money national event of the season. We've got a complete show each night, timed hot laps, qualifying, dashes, and more details to come soon. So keep an eye on the Thunderhill Speedway social media pages to keep updated on all of our racing action for the season before we round off with our final weekend of racing, Friday and Saturday, September 25th and 26th, for our annual Harvest Hustle. And this just in, I actually just got an update for that Midwest Karting Grand Nationals race that we have in the beginning of September. It is actually now up to $6,000 to win in that micro showdown. So it is definitely not a weekend that you will want to miss. Whether you're a racer or a race fan or just a casual viewer, you are guaranteed to have some phenomenal racing action throughout that weekend. And it looks as though now we have all 6 of our racers out on the track and ready to go. We're going to give them a chance just to warm up their tires before we get to our final feature race of the night. We'll get everyone back in their correct starting order. Once again, it's Jensrud and Berger on the front line. Bowers and Koss in row 2. And JP3 and Jiraji rounding out your 6-cart field. We're going to tighten them up through 1 and 2. And I believe we're going to be sending them green flag racing next time by. Down the back straightaway through 3 and 4. Green light is out. And it's the C71 of Jensrud leading the pack through 1 and 2. The 19 of Berger takes that extreme high line as the 55 of Bowers tries to cut down low, see if he can take over that top spot. Bowers with the slight advantage in second place. Berger's going to drop back to third. And out front, Jensrud with a clear track ahead of him is making up for whatever happened during the micro sprint race and putting some distance between himself and that battle for second and third behind him. Berger taking that extreme high line, a little bumping and banging through the soft stuff there at the top of the groove, is going to give a chance for our 4th place racer to reel him in. I believe that might be the 20th Koss, if I'm not mistaken. This could potentially turn into a 3-racer battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. As now the 55 of Bowers is off the pace. Koss into the rear end of him, almost going to cause an issue there, but they're able to save it. But the caution is going to fly as Bowers is going to roll down to the infield. Ryan Bowers is going to bring his night to a close. We saw at the top of the track, Bowers just fully off the pace. Not quite sure what happened there. But now that he is down to the infield, we will try to re-rack and restack and finish off this 20th feature race. We started with 6, we're down to 5. Jensrud, the 19 of Berger right behind. Koss, Parsons, and Jiraji. There, it looks like we're trying to get the 55 of Bowers restarted. Not quite sure it's going to work as he pulls back down to the infield. Jensrud, Berger, Koss, Parsons, Jiraji. Your top 5 as we started single file, green flag flies, and Jensrud leads the pack into 1 and 2. Berger and Koss, 19 and 20, going 2nd and 3rd, duking it out, battling it back and forth for those final 2 steps on the podium. Right behind him, the 85 of JP3, seeing if he might be able to sneak into the mix there. .46G of Jiraji, looking to have 2 top 5 finishes on the night. Halfway through this Gopher Midget Racing Series feature race, 10 laps down, 10 more to go, and Jensrud with a 1.5-second gap between himself and the 19 of Berger, who's battling it out still with the 20 of Koss. Koss all over the tail end of Berger. Both racers opting to take that high line to power out of the corners. Jensrud, on the other hand, out front and pulling away. A near 2.5-second gap between the C71 of Carter Jensrud and the 19 of Jack Berger. Still holding on to 2nd place ahead of the 20 of Koss. That time by only 0.3 seconds separating 2nd and 3rd. 3/100ths of a second. This time by, white flag is out. 1 more lap to go. He was a DNF in the micro sprint class, but he made up for it with a feature race win in the Gopher Midget Racing Series class, as Carter Jensrud takes the win in the C71. It's going to be the 19 of Jack Berger holding on for 2nd, and the 20 of Kirsten Koss rounding out your top 3. Jensrud with a quick victory lap there. He's no stranger to the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane, as he already has 2 wins on the season in the Gopher Midget Racing Series class, as he pulls into the Thunderhill Speedway victory lane and removes his helmet, climbs out from behind the wheel of his kart. He's extending his points championship lead by now 100 points ahead of 2nd. Let's hear it for your feature race winner, the C71 of Carter Jensrud. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Chad and the team at Thunderhill Speedway, Matt and the team at MBTV Sports, we'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight for round number 4 of the 2026 Storm Series Championship Series here at Thunderhill Speedway. Whether you were in the grandstands or live streaming on MBTV Sports, we hope to see you again in 2 weeks for round number 5 on Thursday, July 23rd. Gates open at 4:30. Hill draw closes at 6. Racing starts at 7. Until then, thank you all for coming out. Thank you for viewing the live stream, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night, everybody.
Freight is the backbone of the country, and as long as people need goods, they're going to need somebody to get it to them. My name is Matt Bowl with QualityFreightRate.com, powered by T-Force Worldwide. We provide LTL, truckload, and expedited freight services across this country. If your freight weighs over 120 pounds going over 120 miles, that's where my shipping rates kick in. We help companies ship easier for less. With our system, our customers are able to quote and book shipments with ease 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're having trouble with damages, lost freight, claims of any sort, we can help you with our experience, solve the problem, tell you why it's happening and what you should do to prevent it in the future. Me and my team have been together for over 20 years. We know this industry. We can help all size business, big or small, we love them all. But we have a special spot for small business. Small businesses are pillars in the community. Low rates are critical for a small business because the margins are generally pretty small. They need to have competitive rates. They can't be getting gouged or they lose the sale. Freight is simple. People make it difficult. We work as consultants in the industry, so it doesn't matter what your problem is, we'll solve it. We educate the customers, we solve problems, and we lower their shipping rates. And that's what I've been doing for 20 plus years.
At AmRamp Accessibility, our goal is to help people, and that means providing them with the best quality product and service possible. Built with powder-coated steel, our ramps are stronger and longer lasting than those built with wood or aluminum. Installed in a matter of days to ensure your safety as quickly as possible, our teams are here for you.
I can get out. Yeah, much easier. Better, a lot better. Yes, thank you.
I don't even have the words to explain how much easier it is. We're just so thankful for it, so thank you. Thank you very much.
Find your forward with AmRamp Accessibility today. Learn more at amramp.com.
My name is John O'Connor. I'm a snowboarder for life and a business owner in Windham, New York. We run a restaurant and inn here. This is our backyard. Having a backyard park is really special because being able to snowboard at home and not have to get in the car, go to a resort, wait in the line, is your own creative space to do whatever you want, however you want. You're in your element. You're right at home, and it's a really good feeling when you can tune into the space around you with you and your friends and just make something special of it. The Tow Pro has helped my vision come to life with where I would like to take the backyard setup, and without it, it wouldn't be the same. It's the most easy to use, compact, portable, reliable rope tow that you can buy. It's the best thing that I own as far as what gives me happiness in life. Without it, it's not the same when you're hiking. To be able to keep riding and feel like you're snowboarding, that's what it's all about. And the Tow Pro has made that happen.
Yeah, Butler-Built has been a supporter of mine for a long time. I've always run Butler-Built seats ever I got into 410 sprint car racing, and I feel like they have the nicest aluminum seats out there. The craftsmanship, the welding on it is top-notch, and now they're pouring my inserts and have the gravel cut seat and gives you a lot of clearance for your hybrid or your Hans, and I feel like, you know, there's no better seat out there. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of feedback, right? These guys do it every day, so as me as a sprint car driver specifically, you know, every form of dirt racing, the seats are built different, and guys like us, you know, drivers are wearing holes in their hybrids because they're rubbing on the seats, and felt like there was a need for a little bit of a new design and a new generation of the sprint car advantage seat. So, yeah, it's been a fun ride and hope to continue the relationship for a long time.
Need auto parts? You know Conrad's Auto Salvage and ASAP Used Auto Parts, two great companies, now one location near Mondovi. We've appreciated your business in Eau Claire. Now you'll find all the same parts and services at our location near Mondovi. We can mount and balance tires, plus do oil changes and more. All the same services in one incredible facility. Conrad's Auto Salvage and ASAP Used Auto Parts, two great companies, now one location near Mondovi for all your auto parts needs.
Painful steps shouldn't be part of your daily routine. At Foot and Ankle Clinics, PA, we specialize in diagnosing and treating a wide range of foot and ankle conditions, from heel pain and bunions to diabetic foot care and sports injuries. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jeff Pellercells and Dr. Russell John Hill, bring decades of experience and a compassionate approach to every patient. At our clinic, we are dedicated to serving the community with the highest level of care. Your well-being is our top priority. Serving the communities of Woodbury, West St. Paul, and Edina, we're committed to providing personalized care tailored to your needs. Don't let foot or ankle pain hold you back. Visit footandankleclinics.com to schedule your appointment today.
Every great journey begins with a trusted guide. And when it comes to finding your perfect home, there's no one better than Kathy Vetter.